This movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that has been growing tremendously in the West here for men. Now, I ain't here to judge or preach. I'm just here to drop some knowledge, y'all. We're talking about something real, something raw. We're talking about men leaving the U.S. to find wives overseas. I mean, these men are looking for genuine love, y'all. Ain't that what we all want? A love that's real, a love that cares, a love that ain't just about the money. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not gonna let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop him. Do whatever you have to do to stop him. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
You see, some men are taking leaps, crossing oceans and continents in search of something they believe they can find outside of these borders. They're looking for something more than just a transaction, for something more than just somebody who's eyeing a wallet. They're yearning for traditional values, a genuine connection, and a love that is as real as it can get.
So what do you guys think on the new wave of passport bros? So passport bros are men who are traveling overseas to find love, find feminine women. Men are leaving the West, men are leaving America. They're tired of American women. They want to go find feminine, pure women overseas. What do you guys think about that?
I completely support it 100%. I think if a man is looking for a pure woman, then, you know, the West is a very scarcely our feminine, pure woman here.
Okay.
I mean, each to their own. If they want to do that, go for it. I mean, it doesn't affect me at all, really.
It kind of does, though.
I mean, it might, due to, like, the fact that there are less men, but, like, obviously if they're looking for a pure woman, like, I won't fit that for them.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. And let me tell you, there's a shift happening. Some men are tired of the superficiality, the materialism, and the hustle and bustle of the dating scene here in the Western culture. They want a love that's deeper than what the media portrays. They want a partner that respects and cherishes them for who they are, not just for what they own. And you know what? They deserve it. And I believe that we all do. Now, all good things that could be very beneficial to a person's life does not come without its issues or its problems.
Passport bros are mad because a lot of the foreign women that they're trying to go and seduce and bring to America are basically using them for their money or basically see right through them.
You know that nigga that you thinking about? Does he have a wallet?
No.
And in that wallet, does he have money?
No.
Oh, okay. Have a good day.
If he ain't paying all them bills, he can't say nothing, okay? Nothing, because he's just a roommate.
If you make $38,000, you need to be handy. You need to know how to light bulb and put a fan up and put on a light switch. If you make $38,000 a year, you better cut the grass, you better wash dishes, cook food, wash clothes, fold, I mean, everything.
I'm adding myself. So that's all I have for you. I don't have anything to bring to a table.
You can't afford to date, don't date. I'm sorry if you got used and abused by some woman who just used you for a free meal. That really just comes with part of the dating territory. Like, I get it, you're jaded, but what does that have to do with me? Like, I'm sorry, you need to use better discretion. That has nothing to do with, like, women in general. Don't penalize the next chick just because you took the wrong chick out to eat. And you know what? If you're just like, hey, I don't want to be spending this much money on dates, that's fine. Take a break from dating. Re-up your money. Go donate some plasma. Do whatever you gotta do, because I'm not about to go on some cheap date to like Applebee's or Fridays because you mad at the old chick who used you for a free meal. Use discernment. If you don't have it, pray for it.
Now, this is what's ridiculous here. A lot of times when women take these positions and they say what they have to say about what men should do and what they shouldn't do, it really does make me a little bit more perplexed as to why they feel they want to speak on the topics. When they tell men that they cannot mansplain or they cannot do certain things and talk about issues that's going on with women. I mean, what kind of sense does it make? Also, at the same time, of course, is the main reason why men are taking flight or catching flights, and passport bros are up and winning 1,000 to none, because of the simple fact that the women take the positions that they do take right now. Now, a lot of men don't want to be in the house with a contentious woman, as it says in scripture that it is better to dwell on a rooftop than in a house with a contentious woman. So yes, of course, they're taking a position to go find a nice feminine woman who can have their back and not want to hold their wallet. So if you ladies want to figure out something for yourselves and try to figure out why your mindset is so skewed, that'll be the best bet for you, rather than going to go buy a cat or a dog. Because of course, this is all you're going to have if you continue to hold on to the same mindset that you do have right now. Now, I understand that you guys have been taught. You have been taught certain things and to value certain things over you value a person, a flesh and blood man or human being. Value what materials they can provide for you rather than the content of their character and who they truly are. So my thing is this: you don't get a pass because you have an opportunity to learn from all of that and realize the mistakes and the errors of the teachings and say, you know what, I think the person would be more important than what the person can provide for me. And then you'll be winning. Then you'll have an opportunity. Then you may be considered. But until then, passport bros are up 1,000 to none. We catching flights all year, all cuff season long.
Oh my God! Yo! I dare you with the gay ass. Oh my God! I dare you. What you trying to be on? What you trying to be on? I'm on whatever you want. I'll beat you the fuck up. What you trying to be on? If you really fuck up, what you trying to be on? It's whatever. I'm trying to be on. Say somebody know it. One day and I'm gonna rock your shit. Rock your shit again.
She just proved in 3 seconds exactly why bro is leaving. They just don't act like this in other countries. They actually work with their man and do not try and fight him.
Biggest issue with these passport bros aren't that they're getting passports and going to find the love of their life. I think when it starts to be kind of weird is when you only date people outside your country, right? If a passport bro were to say, oh yeah, I only date Asian women, right? That is a fetish. That's not a passport bro, right? Passport bros are people who specifically go from country to country to country trying to find women, exotic flavors, to dabble in, right? It really starts becoming weird when you go to third world countries or countries that are not as advanced as ours.
Now, to say that countries that's going to be not more advanced or third world countries and trying to talk down on those countries as though just because they're not as advanced doesn't mean that you should do so. This is one of the main reasons why passport bros want to seek those women who are in those countries, because the technology has tainted them or influenced them to want to get out here and be 304s. They're looking for somebody who's wholesome, for somebody who's going to be a wife, who's going to cherish the relationship more than they cherish the wallet. So you know for a fact that that is not a point of argument you can bring up, because of the simple fact that that is actually a pro in the situation of trying to find a woman who's not so exposed to social media and things like that.
And start telling women that you're going to marry them so that and a lot of these women are desperate, so they're going to take you up on that offer, right? And in a way, it's kind of manipulative, right? They want someone who is going to be submissive to them. And what better way to find someone who's submissive to them than to find a woman who is at your beck and call? Because, you know, the only reason she's in the United States is because of you. Sounds to me like a lot of control issue, right? And to be honest, ladies, these aren't the type of men that we want anyway. These men want a woman that they can control, because they can't find it here in America because it's frowned upon to like own a human. They go to other places in the world where they can legally own a human.
She is projecting her loneliness so hard. It's not about control, it's about finding a woman that understands mutual respect. But hey, his body is his choice, right? Besides, if this is all that's available, you can't blame men for not wanting She-Hulk.
A lot of people got something to say about the fact that I got 6 kids with 6 different men. So I'm just gonna tell y'all why it is better to do it this way. If I had 6 kids with all the same dude, I get 34% of his income, which is only $680 a month. If I got 6 kids with 6 different dudes, I get 17% from each one of them, which is $340 a month from each one. $340 a month times 6 baby daddies is $2,040. So why don't you have 6 baby daddies?
And she sees no problem with doing this to those men. If only modern women would put this much effort into education or getting a job. I'm not sure if this is a joke, it sure does feel like it is, but I certainly do not doubt that some women actually do think like this and operate this way. They have absolutely no morals, and the courts will allow it. We all know how this story will play out. Them kids will grow up without a father, and you already know how that will turn out, and she will end up alone.
I'm very good at cook, in cleaning. Also, I will serve you.
Oh my God, get out of here, sis. With that. Over here in the West, we don't play that, okay? We're strong, independent queens who don't need no man. What you talking about serving?
I could offer my whole self. No secrets and all. Loyalty, faithfulness, everything that could make him happy.
You ever hear a Western woman talking about how she's going to make her man happy? No. You know what we hear from the West? What a man can do to make me happy. What a man can bring to the table for me. What I can benefit. How I could spend his money.
This is why Western women is mad, because look at her, she's pretty, and she's a housewife, and she takes care of 2 kids.
It's not our fault. They even say that we steal their man. No, we don't steal your man. Do your man come in here?
Low blows. They're just clowning Western women right now.
It's crazy how you talk to women here in Western society and they get upset because you talk about how much you really enjoy a traditional valued relationship. On the flip side, you go overseas and these same women are talking about the same exact values that you bring up in arguments and points when it comes to why dating in the US has failed. It's actually quite refreshing a lot of the times to hear it come from a woman's mouth that the things that men value really truly do matter to them as well. And I believe that once Western women in the US and Western women all abroad really do understand this and realize this, then they're gonna flip the script and they're gonna want to change their perspective altogether. When shit hit the fan and they need a big strong man who's gonna know how to defend and protect them, they're not gonna worry about whether or not they're being respected. They're gonna want to know if they're gonna be protected. They're gonna know if this man is going to have a good heart towards her, or if he's going to cause harm to her. They're not going to be worried about how much money he got in the bank. They're going to be worried about how much character, how much honor and integrity does he carry with him, because they're going to be looking at him for survival and not be looking at him for what he can provide to her.
Filipina women and many other women overseas are the complete opposite of modern women. Filipina women are known to be very affectionate. They love to cook you meals, massage you, always are there for a good time. And most importantly, they are there to make you feel secure in your manhood and add value to your life. So it's no surprise that men are going overseas and leaving the West behind for traditional women.
So what do you suggest the women in the West do if everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in the West then?
Well, that one study we referenced that said by 2030 or something, 50% of the women will be without a man. So that's the direction we're heading, because the men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas, and then the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
My suggestion to women in the West is to try and buy a cat. It will help with the loneliness. This is what they caused. You reap what you sow.
You pay attention to the passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia, the Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that need them.
Women are raised to be wives. They learn everything from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
Stop yourself.
That's not true.
First of all, they speak English in the Philippines, so that just shows how it is actually them that are uneducated. Even if they didn't speak English, it doesn't mean they aren't intelligent. I know plenty of people that dumb as a brick, and they can speak English. Honestly, they just sound like they are hating. Their little ego must have been hurt, knowing that it is because of women like them why men are leaving to look for better partners elsewhere. Filipina women got tired of videos like this one and other modern women trying to shame them and are now clapping back. Honestly, it's pretty funny to see.
Let me get this straight. You have been telling men for years that you don't want them, you don't need them, they don't meet your standards, that they don't treat you right. You can pay for your own hair, you can pay for your own nails, you can afford your own home, you can afford your own car, and are good for nothing. You're strong, you're independent. Then you get mad when these men go to another country to actually find a woman that has the qualities that they are looking for in a wife. Make it make sense. I also want to talk about why this mindset that so many Western women have is actually extremely problematic. Because not only are you putting down the men who are going overseas with pure intentions, you're also putting down the woman from these other countries solely off of the fact that they were not brought up in a Western culture. Because you're calling them uneducated, you're calling them poor, you're calling them weak, you're calling them vulnerable. You're creating a superiority complex where you are at the top and women from all these other countries are at the bottom. Now let me tell you something. If you were really superior, the men would not be leaving. And you would not be single.
Damn!
Sensational. That last part was a nuclear truth bomb. She just TKO'd it.
Guys, let's get our passports, bro. They don't appreciate us here.
It's an opportunity for them to go in search of spouses who they feel are going to be more subservient to them and do what they want, basically some sort of indentured servitude.
It's easier for these men to go overseas, get one of these victims.
A lot of these passport bros are exploiting a power imbalance economically.
Y'all are taking advantage of these women.
If you feel that you need to go to Antarctica to marry a polar bear,
but they're still doing the, oh, we're just going to leave and go to another country and find women, or you're going to die alone. Good luck dying alone with your cats.
Get a polar bear.
Yeah, it is much easier for these passport bros to go to other countries and exploit younger, more impressionable, less educated or uneducated girls living in poverty.
You know why? Because we don't care.
Look, we don't care. We do not care.
I don't know. It sounds to me like they do care. The funny thing is, no one forced them to take time out of their day and record a video to post on TikTok. If they really didn't care, they would not have made the video. The bitterness is off the scale. The funny thing is, most of these women that are so mad are probably women that don't get enough attention. When they had the attention, they disrespected it. Now we ignore them. And so they try and shame men for leaving.
Passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia.
Yes. Wait. Excuse me? Uneducated? Girl, have you been to the Philippines? Filipinos are very smart. And a lot of Filipinos are nurses, teachers, doctors, lawyers. And you're calling us uneducated? Do some research, girl. Okay? Yeah.
American guys are going across the country to find Filipina slaves. Girl.
What did I do today?
You cooked dinner. You went to the grocery stores before and got all the groceries to cook dinner. And you cleaned up the whole room, and put all my clothes away without me asking for it.
And do I feel like I'm a slave? No. Because what did you do today?
What I do? I bought Starbucks. I took out the trash when I saw you struggling with it. You were going to try to take it out yourself. And, I got your nails done the other day.
So it's not a game of who does more for who. It's about thinking what the other person needs and doing it without them having to ask for it.
And even if I do just the little things for him, he's always so surprised and appreciative. Which makes me wonder what's going on over there in America. And mind you, we're not taking them away from you. They're coming to find us.
We gotta understand that it's not about dissing anyone here. It's about recognizing the diversity of desire. Some men crave a traditional love story. Roles are not defined by the societal norms, but by genuine respect and understanding. It's about finding somebody who values your soul more than your wallet, your character more than your car. And that, my friends, is a beautiful thing.
Only reason an Asian woman would marry you is because of the prospect of a better life.
You go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or wherever these places are that are overseas. They're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity.
You may or may not be able to speak English properly.
And if you want to call us uneducated and poor, that we will get any opportunity we can get just so we can get out of poverty. Men are supposed to be providers, so they are going to provide for their future partners and family. The bottom line is, we have what they are looking for. I don't understand where is the rage from these women coming from. Why are they even surprised their men leaving when they are the one who is causing it?
I can cook, I can clean.
Uh-oh! Yeah, see, this is why I came to Thailand, to find a traditional woman.
Uh-oh.
See, in the United States,
women don't cook and clean.
All they do is complain. And we don't got time for that. That's why I got my passport, and I've left.
Look at this beautiful couple right here. You understand me? Look at that smile. But guys, let's be honest. A young brother like this in the States, you could tell he's exceptionally forward regarding his intentions of wanting love and wanting a family. In the States, a man of his personality, characteristics, and traits will be labeled as a lame, would be labeled as corny, as reasons to disqualify him. But instead of dealing with the bullshit, my young brother went abroad and found himself a nice little tenderoni abroad.
This is what matters. Men should not be playing a game of cat and mouse with a girl for her attention when he can just leave America for real love. But do be careful, guys. The grass is not always greener on the other side. So do your due diligence.
Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
If men are traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
When a man wants to find a woman with traditional values in another country, he's now not a good man and he's a pervert. And then you wonder why they're leaving.
Women.
Men going their own ways, not a bunch of men who bash women for the hell of it. Women these days are far from wifey material, so no wonder why men ignore her or just pump and dump them, if at all. With a condom, of course. Speaking of which, here's another huge reason why men don't want to raise children in the West.
This book here, it's called It's Perfectly Normal. I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's becomes erect, stiff, and larger. Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes it wet.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? We have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs, but you don't want me to read it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading it? If you don't want to hear it, why should the children have to see it?
Pastor, your time is up. Thank you.
That makes two of us.
When the school system teaches kids how to do crazy stuff in bed, you know that this is nothing but a clown world. And by the way, this whole discussion goes beyond religion. It's a matter of common sense, which, as you guys know, is not that common. If you don't want to hear it, why should children hear it? There is nothing normal about reading this book to young, innocent children. What is the purpose of putting this book in schools? God bless this man of God. I love when he said, "Is it something I said?" after reading out loud to a bunch of adults the filth they are letting our children check out and read. Thank God he isn't afraid of men while taking care of God's business. God, cover this man and all the parents standing up. The book, It's Perfectly Normal, is in the Asheville School District in North Carolina. As a matter of fact, it's in numerous school districts around the country. The board, as expected, didn't want to hear what the pastor/father had to read out loud from this book, but yet 10-year-olds should be able to hear and read this garbage. It's no surprise to anyone how much of a failing society the Western world, America in particular, has become. From the crappy legal systems the entitled modern women and the propaganda children are being exposed to. It just makes you feel like
most American chicks are toast, most Canadian chicks are toast, and the same is applied in Australia, New Zealand, and Western Europe. I lived in Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Miami, San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. In Canada, Medellin and Bogota, Puerto Rico for about a year. I lived in China, London, and Lisbon, Portugal, and Kiev, Ukraine, and Bucharest, Romania. Those are kind of the main places where I set up base and got to take in the culture. Here's what's been fun with the Western cultures. The girls are very entitled. They're stuck up, overweight, less educated in general compared to their Eastern. They're less sweet, they're less feminine, they're less elegant, they are more slutty, more disrespectful. Versus what I found in Eastern European cultures, the women are very feminine, they're very elegant, they're sweet, they're very fit, they're more respectful, they're more genuine, they're more educated, they're more cultured, they're less sexually experienced, okay, because they're not pouring out all over the place. They're more family oriented and usually have better morals in general. For me personally, I am just over the Western chicks.
Girl goes off on
I
Western
think
women.
that we've just got a very, very selfish culture of women. And to any women out there that say I have internalized misogyny or anything like that, that would require that I have a problem with women worldwide. I do not have a problem with women worldwide. I have a problem with Western women. And if you think that I'm just like making this up out of nowhere, reflect on the fact that there are Western men that are flying out east to find wives. Are Eastern men coming out west to find wives? No. Where in the world are men flying out in droves to marry American women? Nobody wants us. Why? We're big, we're selfish. We don't want to hear anything. You can't tell me to eat less. You can't tell me to change my life. You can't tell me it's not about me.
How much money do you need to earn to be considered rich here in the Philippines?
150,000 income every month. You would be able to maintain a car and to have a nice home, to be able to have this rich lifestyle.
Imagine yourself in a place like this, getting paid remotely $3,000-$4,000 a month, and you look good, take care of yourself. You don't.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is passport bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, passport bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that they argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond to this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the Passport Bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like, this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country. My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world, which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males. That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now. Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America.
Now, this doctor, man, this psych doctor, he's definitely spot on. From what his observations have been, it's been a night and day difference between two in both worlds. And yes, people are more hospitable in certain spaces than they are in others. You know, and you do have cultures of people, if you go there, that believe in sticking to their own culture, or maybe possibly wanting to date a certain type of race. And you have to understand and discern what is what. But, you know, there are plenty who would love anybody for who they are and what kind of character they may bring to the table as well. You also have to understand that you got to be careful out there, because there are still some women who are overseas who are looking to just have a lick or have a come up, who are looking to scam you. So you gotta tread lightly and be sure you vet the person that you're courting, right? That you're looking to date. Vet them good, vet them well, and see who they really truly are and what they're really truly looking for. If they're looking for somebody they can be able to build and grow a true family and relationship with, and that would be somebody that has a thumbs up and green light.
This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore. And you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all. And I find feminine women very attractive. It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. You can also hit the thanks button and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you derive from this episode. It's your donations that make all this possible. I don't do the product placements and the corporate sponsorships of other channels of this size. And trust me, I get like 50 different offers a day. This helps me stay independent, and it helps me to do what I need to do to keep the channel going. So thank you very much for your support. All right. Third, the women in Japan are extremely respectful. Every woman I interacted with there was extremely warm and friendly. They were receptive to conversation, and they seemed to enjoy, or at least very effectively pretended to enjoy, speaking with me. Even more, they were solicitous about my feelings and seemed concerned that I should enjoy the interaction as well. I didn't experience a single indifferent or disrespectful word, tone, or glance from a woman in a month. This made approaching and talking to women in Japan a much less fraught experience than it is in the US. The women I spoke to seemed to take pleasure in the attention and in the dialogue. Nothing about the interaction indicated that they were annoyed or offended that I was interested in talking to them.
I mean, you guys got to really see what's going on here. It's a perception for me. The perception that the men who are going over to find wives in other countries, and how their personality is, what their personality trait may be, and if they're able to actually score a woman here in the States. Well, I believe that most men who are looking to do so are men nowadays who have already tried their best here in the States and have came across one woman after another, and they just had not have very much success. Some of these guys are probably not as attractive as others, but they are equally attractive guys, high earning guys, and also at the same time, guys who are average earners, who are going across seas to be able to find a new wife. Now, you know, is there still beautiful women here in the U.S. that are who do hold those traditional values? I do believe so. Now, but are they few and far in between? Yes. And I don't know if men are really willing to take the risk, the financial risk, or risk the time to be able to find them.
Fourth, while a kind of chivalry exists in Japan, it's an inverted version of what we have here. In Japan, men come first, women come second. It's difficult to appreciate how deeply the romantic ideology permeates our manners until you go to a completely different culture. For instance, one day I was walking towards the main entrance of a building at pretty much the same time as a woman. My natural instinct was to get there first and hold the door open for her. However, when I did so, she refused to walk through it, making a show of great embarrassment. And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake. Another example. Many years ago, I spent some weeks in Japan studying Buto dance in an immersive program. The first night of the program, at the General Assembly, we heard a long speech on how the organizers miscalculated the number of futons they needed for the students. Apparently, there would not be enough beds for everyone, so the women would have to sleep on the bare floor without cushions or sheets until the problem was rectified. Now, there were a couple other Westerners in the audience, and I remember we were just looking at each other in disbelief. To say we were shocked would not be an understatement. The idea that the women were going to sleep on the ground while the men were going to sleep in the beds felt completely unnatural to us. However, our way of doing things is just as unnatural to Japanese sensibilities. That's starting to change more and more as Western ideologies continue to infiltrate Japanese society. But the important thing here is to understand that a lot of what many people believe to be the natural dynamic between men and women is really very culturally bounded and culturally specific. And to be honest, it felt good to be honored for being a man. Like, it's not a bad thing to be a man in Japan. In fact, it seems to come with some privileges that are more commensurate to the responsibilities that men generally take on. So let's recap. On the whole, Japanese women are slender and physically fit, feminine and demure, friendly and courteous, and respectful and appreciative. Not all Japanese women, I'm sure, but the vast majority of them, as far as I could tell. When I spoke with them, the feeling I got was that they felt lucky to be interacting with me, which is a total reversal of the attitude you generally encounter in the West. I've gone on a lot of dates in my day, and the prevailing vibes were either A, that I should feel lucky that the woman was allowing me to buy her a drink, or B, that the woman needed to make sure I could give her what she wanted by conducting the date like a job interview. There's a lot of entitlement and narcissism here. It's all about her. On the other hand, my sense is that in Japan, women feel grateful for the opportunity to be there, grateful for the opportunity to be considered as a potential partner. It was extremely refreshing, to say the least. Now, I'm not a fragile guy. I'm not a loser who can't get laid. I'm not poor or low status or unattractive. I'm not a guy without options. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to have satisfying relationships with women. But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient. Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less relative to other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad. Allow me to explain. From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the women in Japan was significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area, like not by a little, by orders of magnitude. Let me break down some of the various factors that go into that statement. First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy. I spent a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time, half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump, maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight max. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan. The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well. Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup. They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant, flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty.
So to all my brothers out there searching for that real love, that genuine connection, keep your head up. Don't be afraid to explore, to open your heart up to the possibilities beyond the horizons. Love knows no borders, and when you find it, it's a force that will change your life. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your heart, and remember, love is the realest currency in this world. That's it for today, folks. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and hit that subscribe button for more real talk. Click that notification bell on your way out, and we'll see you in the next one, all right? Peace and shalom.